In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, I am Dr. Muhammad Asif Ch, and today I give the lecture on legal, functional and technical issue in IRS. Return of income tax and wealth statement for the tax year 2026. There are a lot of issues like practical issues, statutory alignments, suggestion to IRS and reforms. If you have any query regarding the filing of income tax returns, sales tax returns, appellate forums or any taxation or corporate matter, you can contact me on this number, as I am the CEO of Tax Professionals, and tax professionals provide all these services to the taxpayers. Now, what is the purpose and scope of this lecture? Basically, there are a large of major legal, functional and technical obstacles encountered in the tax year 2026 for filing of return. As I identify these issues, I decided that I will give the suggestions to the parole, to FBR hierarchy, to taxpayers, to tax consultants and all the persons who are preparing the tax returns, so that they can save from making the mistakes while filing the income tax return. So the distinguished statutory requirement from the portal imposed validation and data integration issue, because there are a lot of issue by filing, the persons who are filing the income tax return 2026, they are feeling that there are a lot of issues which are required the statutory reforms. So I decided to give a suggestion regarding that, and a recommendation of practical IRS improvement that reduces the compliance burden without compromising the validation. With the limit of validations, I will give the recommendation to improve that reforms. And the focus area is the return of income, wealth statement, wealth reconciliations, withholding taxes and capital gain taxes, and the system performance. Inshallah, I will give, first of all, I will tell about the problems, then give the solution of that problems and recommendation for the reforms of the problems. First thing that is feeling that the immovable property declaration validation, because the persons who are filing their returns, they are feeling that when they go to the wealth statement and assets and liability side, they start their when they go for the properties, they feel that they cannot submit their return, the properties which are carry forward from the previous year. The imported pre-population properties are marked as red and require the property wise updating before conversion to white. Because they are red and you cannot file your return, first of all you have to convert these properties into white. Relinquishment is not available as disposal mode. Disposal options should reflect the applicable laws, and entry under any other assets when you file the previous returns until the year 2025, you feel that when you go for the filing of returns, there is a column for any other assets, and now the any other assets may be deleted automatically in certain cases from the income tax return, and they did not add in the total assets. No suitable reporting route for capital gain where acquisition and disposal occur in the same year. If the property is not given in the asset and you have to dispose that property, then there is no route, because for the capital gain they give you the option that select the property for which you want to enter the capital gain, but when you go for the selection of a property, it will not be available in your wealth statement because you purchase in the same year. So it is the problem for the same year. Therefore, first of all, you have to enter that property and as per the options given by the Federal Board of Revenue, then you can remove it from the wealth statement by adding the capital gain on that assets. So the in inheritance devolutions cases, the CNIC and ALT status requirement for the deceased should be reviewed, because when there is an inheritance, for inheritance only the persons take the inheritance from their forefathers or fathers. If they are not active, then there is creating a problem. So please review this section. Now we call about the minimum tax section 153 attributable income, because the persons who are taking a business and they are filing their returns, they have to withhold a lot of money, lot of taxes regarding their supplies, regarding their services, regarding imports in section 148 and the other things whichever you done your business. A lot of taxes are held by these sections. So IRS provide an attributable income field for the tax collected under section 148. It is not appear in the income tax return. The person who has gave the tax at import stage, but when you come on your IRS data and the MIS system data, the tax will not appear in that data, and the corresponding facility for tax deducted collected under section 153 is blocked or unavailable, because whichever the system will collect, it automatically says that you should not edit that data. It is blocked. It should not be blocked. If I have a information, I have a challenge, then I can edit it. It should be editable. And enable attribute of the income reporting where section 153 tax constitute the minimum taxes, and the system's design should permit the lawful computation without forcing the artificial apportionment. So the apportionment which the data or the FBR system do, it is sometimes not correctly. So the option should be available that we should apportion our data ourselves. And the withholding taxes data mismatch and editing position. Sometimes the data collected by the FBR or whichever the information available on the to the FBR is not correct as per the data available on the taxpayer side. So portal withholding data may not reconcile with the actual tax data available to the taxpayer, because the portal may not take all the data. It is the possibility that it may mismatch. So for removing the mismatching, you have to enter or edit the data. Non-editable fields prevent correction of the genuine discrepancies. So if you will not having a facility of editing, so it will create the discrepancy in your returns, and which may, as now the faceless audit and the AI system, when audit that things by the Federal Board of Revenue, then these discrepancy will appear in the audit of the taxpayer, and which causes the loss of taxpayer. So provide control editing and supported by the validations, audit trail and documentary support should be given to the taxpayer. So correct tax credit reporting is essential for the accurate liability and refund determinations. Credit reporting is not actual. It creates sometime give the some less information, so it should be actual. So the actual tax payment or refund may be created. Now I call about the bank accounts IBAN validations. Validate MBN IBAN may be rejected despite of appearing correctly on the bank statement. Whichever the IBAN is appearing on the bank statement, it means it is the actual. When we put that IBAN in the bank account update in the bank account, it will not appear that it is not available on the side. Data is not available. What is foolish? It should be available, and I think it is the shortcoming of the system. It should be improved. And now the rectify validation logics and accommodate the legitimate bank specific format. So it should be the option that if it is not validating, you can enter from yourself, and filing should not be blocked by the system validation issue where the account detail are otherwise verifiable. If I have my account valuation, may have the information of my account, that I should edit, and I should have a facility to edit these things, and which can be checked in the future. But now I should have a facility to file my return. Now if I come on the personal and household expenses, co-sharer contribution is not available, where if anybody is sharing its share for the contribution in our household expenses, that is not available. The current mechanism may require co-sharing contribution to be first reported as inflow in the wealth reconciliation, and this creates the additional reconciliation complexity and can distort the practical presentation of household funding, and consider restoring the earlier Form F approach for the providing of simpler equivalent mechanism. So validation should be distinguished genuine income inflow formations towards the share of household expenses. And now the SME returns and wealth statement property addresses are also the issue in SMEs. Individual SME wealth statement appear to be used an outdated format. Property address validation may recur even after requiring the particulars, and update the wealth statement structure and property validation rules. Ensure that SME returns is consistent with the current individual returns architectures. Non-resident section 151 and 152 classification for the banks when person is earning a profit on debt, either he is a resident or the non-resident. There should be a difference for resident and non-resident, and some banks report non-resident income chargeable under section 152 FTR appear under section 151. It should not be appear in 151, it should appear in 152 for the non-resident, because the section 152 deals for the non-resident person, not for the 151. 151 deals with resident person. This can prevent the proper FTR treatment and tax credit reconciliations, and provided a controlled reclassification editing facilities with documentary validations. Now the data mapping between bank withholding codes and IRS should be reviewed. It is the requirement of the time to decrease the discrepancy from the returns. And number 8 is 25% tax reduction rebate, which the rebates are available to different researchers, teachers, etc. No, the option in this return is not available. IRS does not allow eligible taxpayers to claim the prescribed 25% of tax reduction rebate under Part 3 of the second schedule. It should be available. Issue may affect the qualifying the business commencement after 1st July 2001 and eligibility of full-time teacher researchers system rules should be incorporated applicably the eligibility conditions and the statutory relief. Provide the transparent eligibility checks and an override route where the legally it justified is the requirement of the time. Now the data from the mobile phones is not reflected because the data from all the things wherever tax withheld is reflected in the returns, but the data from the telephone is not reflected because it is the part of the system, because in previous years it was reflecting and the system calculate, but now in this return system did not calculate. Every system go for the improvement, but this is the shortcoming of the system that first it calculated and now it is not in 2026. So the tax collected through mobile phone usage bills may not be properly reflected in IRS, and taxpayers may therefore be unable to claim their admissible credit and adjustment. So strengthen the data integration as the data previously was available. Now it should be further strengthened among the collection point and withholding record of IRS system. Provided the verification correction route where the third party data is incomplete, because the every company, cellular company, deduct the taxes from every person of Pakistan, and there is a lot of taxes which are deducted by the cellular company that should be properly reflected, and that should be complete from the third party, that is the cellular companies. Now the AOP and firm's member share percentage, when their all data is available for to the FBR, so FBR should decide the what are the shares from AOP, and it should be converted to the their personal income. This facility is not available. IRS may not permit updating the share percentage of the existing AOP and firm members. Revised profit sharing ratio therefore cannot be accurately reported in some cases, and enable tax year specific editing of the members percentage subject to the validation. That should be automatically, but it is not available. Profit allocation and related tax treatment should follow the legally documented agreements. It's not available. Now the situation is for the agriculture income, land holding wise detail. If you observe, there are a lot of people who did not have a land, but they are working on land and earning the agriculture income. If you go to the village side, there are a lot of people who lease the land and cultivate on it, do a farming on it, and earn lot of profit and agriculture income. But system did not allow the person who did not have their own land. So how we can feed if I have not agriculture land and I have take the land on lease and cultivate that land? I have no choice to enter my agriculture income. IRS requires mandatory land holding wise particular for the agriculture income. If you have not agriculture, agriculture land, then you are not allowed to enter your agriculture income. Is it possible? Every villager know about that, and the necessary and extent to this requirement should be reviewed against the statutory treatment of the agriculture income. Because if you take a land on lease, or you have a facility for the animals, and you do the livestock, if even you not have a land, you can earn agriculture income. So it should be available as per statutory income. Remove unnecessary mandatory fields where they do not support the specific legal requirement. So use the proportionate information requirement and avoid unnecessary blocking of the return, because it is the unnecessary blocking of the return. I know the people who did not have land on their name, but they are earning a lot of agriculture income. Now the property income and wealth reconciliation. If you observe that whenever you enter your property income, that is your rental income, and system automatically deduct 1/5 or 20% of your income in repair and maintenance. But it is possible that in this year you did not spend that amount in repair and maintenance, but in next year or in previous year you have spent more than 20%. Now the cash flow is basically you have received the total amount, but system gives you the 20% rebate, so it automatically take in your wealth statement 80% of the remaining income, but you receive 100%. So it should be the option for the taxpayer that he can only by himself can take that part in the wealth statement. IRS may automatically carry property income into the wealth reconciliation after reducing the repair and maintenance allowance, and automatically treatment may not accurately represent the actual wealth and cash flow because you receive the 100%, so you should take 100% there, and review the formula and permit appropriate tax levels to reconciliation. System calculation should be transparent and consistent with the return and wealth returns. Now if we come on the minimum taxes, as I talk about the 153 and 148 sections where system deals the minimum taxes, to automatically apportionate the system automatically apportionate that system, but it is not a fair. So you should have an option that you edit it, and which is the fair that should be go into your income, and taxes should be adjustable. IRS system automatically apportion the income attribute to the minimum tax transaction. Automatic apportionment can produce the result of inconsistent with the facts and applicable statutory provisions, so allow taxpayers to declare actual attributable income and support by the appropriate validation. It is the requirement of the time. Where automation is retained, provide an explainable calculation and correction mechanism to the taxpayers. Now the immovable properties flexible measurement unit, because whenever you feed your property in the form of return, there is a part that you can give the only full amount of, like marlas full in marlas, canals full in canals. Like you, if you have a 1 canal and 5 marla, you cannot put 1 canal and 5 marla. You have option only, you select the canal and you have to appear in 1 point this or 1.5 or 1.2, means you did not have an option that you can write whichever you have exact figures. You have to apportion it at the system. So property modules may restrict area declaration limited to a single unit. Area permit acre, canal, marlas and square foot simultaneously are provided the reliable automatic conversions. Example 4 canal 13 marla, that should be representable and without force of approximation. Measure mean conversion should be preserved for the underlying declared area and avoid the rounding dispute. So it should be as per actual recording, it should not be in a single unit. So now we come on the capital gain. Capital gain, if there is a joint ownership and the partial disposal, if you have a joint ownership and anybody dispose of his shares, the system did not calculate, or it will reduce all the property from your share, or it will, there is a note mechanism how it will be reduced. So capital gain tax modules does not adequately cater for joint ownership and partial disposal of the things, so introduce percentage share held and percentage share disposed fields, and determine the acquisition cost and consider which acquisition cost of that portion, and you dispose of the which portion is consider gain and tax consequences by the taxpayer actual proportionate interest. So provide the linkage to the property record and disposal documentation. Now The previous year's refund is not adjustable. If you are filing your return and you have a refund in the previous year, that should automatically become in your return. It is not eligibility. There is not eligible preceding year's refund. Credit may not be adjusted against the current year liability. So provide a clear mechanism for the permissible carry forward adjustment under the ordinance. So display opening refund. There is not option for opening refund. So there should be a opening refund mechanism and credit balance adjustment history. Prevent duplicate claim through the system level validation. System should be so valid that it should not allow the duplication in the system. Now if I call about the IRS system, that is the big problem for every consultant who is filing their returns or advocates, because the performance and response of the IRS portal is very slow, and whenever the days come near the filing closing date, and system stop working, and it create a problem for the consultants, lawyers, accountants, whichever person is filing the returns, facing a lot of hurdles, even the businessman who is the main stakeholders. So IRS may become slow and unresponsive during the saving, importing, in navigation and submission. That it takes a lot of time to save that you have whichever you made, importing, etc. You know better than me because you are working from last many years. And peak filing periods amplify the impact on the statutory compliance and increase the capacity, optimize the database, API performance, and improve the session resilience, so that provide the auto save, transaction recovery, and clearer system status and error messages. It's very necessary. Now the property and rental income wealth statement linkage. There should be a linkage between the rental income declared under the income from property may not have an appropriate facility to identify the corresponding property in the wealth statement, and this can create the inconsistency between the rental income and disclosure of the asset records. Allow selection, updating, and linkage of the property generated of the rental income, and linkage should be supported accurately wealth reconciliation and without duplicate asset entries. Now sale tax profile capital not centralize capital updates through the tax year 2026 return balance sheet may not automatically update, and the sales tax registration profile. The profile may continue to display the previous capital amounts and centralize the sales tax with at least field returns and the subject of validation. Alternate provided an auto authentic facility for updating the capital. Now what is the submission error? Whenever you submit your return, there give the error that input steering. No, it give the input, it give the options that input steering is there available, but it could not mention in which part there is the input steering. IRS may generate for input steering at the submission stage. The message does not identify the relevant field, annexure, or entry. It should identify the field or entry, so where we can rectify it and understand properly. Fix the underlying validation and replace the generic technical error which failed the specific guidance. Error reporting should be identified and the section, annexure, and field name of the corrective actions. Now the deemed assessment section for 120 as the deemed assessment according to 120 section should be appear within the specific time period. It did not appear on that time. It is also a problem of the system that qualifying return under section 120 give rise to a deemed assessment by the operation of law. IRS should appropriately recognize and record the deemed assessment status. Electronic functionary should support the subsequent statutory proceedings and compliance. Now the system design should reflect the legal effective section of 120 rather than requiring the artificial manual step. Revision of return, yeah, that is the main problem, that whenever you submit a return and there is a mistake in the return, you cannot revise it. You have a time before the closing date of the last date of the filing of the return, you should have an option to revise that return. So it is the problem for tax year 2026. Revision functionality is reportedly unavailable for tax year 2026 is the relevant case. So taxpayers who have already filed should be able to exercise the revision rights available under the applicable law, as law allow them to revise your return, but the facility on the IRS system is not available, it's blocked. So it should be available for the taxpayer to revise their return until the closing date, and enable revision functionality with the appropriate legal conditions, audit trail and validation. So revised return should clearly show the original versus revision values and effective filing dates. Now the cross-cutting and reforms priorities, what should be the reforms of IRS system, which are my suggestions. I will give the recommendation also. So the first of all, for the legal alignment, every mandatory field, validation and workflow should correspond to an identifiable statutory requirement. So where there is statutory requirement are not available, it is the failure of the system. So the statutory requirement should be available. Now we come on the data quality. Reconcile pre-population withholding, property, bank and other third-party data before blocking filing. We should check the quality of data whichever the third party has given. Is it qualifying or it is wrong? Because if I have a data which is exact and the data from the third party is not fully available, so it should be checked by the system that there should be a data quality. And editability, allow controlled correction with the audit trails rather than making the dispute of data prematurely non-editable. It should be editable. And the user experience, replace opaque error with the field specific explanation and action of correction guidance. And the performance, ensure adequate capacity, reliability and recovery during the peak filing period. It should be available for the taxpayers, that performance should be very high. Now a recommendation for IRS governance framework is that create a dedicated tax year 2026 issues registered with the severity, legal basis, effective reforms and resolution status. It should be resolved and classify the issues by legal, policy, business, rules, data, integration, validation, UI, UX and the infrastructure. The legality is very necessary, so for the system did not forget the statutory provisions. Statutory provisions are very necessary, it should be available for the data. Now introduce the taxpayer facing issue of IDs and expected resolution timelines. It should be available as early as possible, because already the return is very late, and now these obstacles will slow down the filing process of the taxpayer. And conduct user acceptance testing and tax professionals before major return form releases, and publish the changes logs and versions noted of the practitioners can understand amendment and validation. It should be understandable for both the taxpayers and the practitioners. Practical filing strategy for the tax year 2026. These are the suggestions for the consultants, lawyers, FBR officers and the policy makers, that verify pre-populated data against sources document before finalizing the return. When you are finalizing return on the data based for the FBR, it is not complete. So compare it with your own data and then finalize your return. It is my advice to you. to save you from the discrepancies and audit, and especially from AI audit. And now the maintain the evidence for withholding property, bank capital gain, rebates and wealth reconciliations. Whether IRS blocks lawful reporting, capture the exact errors field, data time and supporting evidence should be available for you, and do not alter substantive figure merely to satisfy an unexplained system validation, and review returns of the income and wealth statement together before submission. It is very necessary for you to avoid the AI audit which are coming in future years. Now the conclusion of my today's lecture is that for compliance burden to digital tax administration, IRS should facilitate the lawful compliance, not create the substantive tax consequences through the technical limitation. So IRS should facilitate the lawful compliance. And accurate tax administration require the alignment of law, business rules, data integration and system designs, and taxpayer needs to transparent validation, control, credibility, reliable pre-population of data and dependent portal performance. So you should be alert regarding these things. And the tax year 2026 an opportunity to make IRS more taxpayers friendly, legally robust and digitally reliable. It is the requirement of the time. Thank you very much for your time and listening my lecture. Inshallah it will be beneficial for you. And if you feel any problem regarding the taxation, corporate matters, now I am dealing with taxation and corporate matter, being a CEO of tax professionals, and I will give you the legal, functional, technical review of IRS and the return of 2026. I am available. If you feel that it is beneficial for you, then like, share and subscribe so that your friends, your relatives and your other dear one can get the benefit from this lecture. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.